I'm gonna throw the what do you recommend to evaluate organizational readiness? I'm gonna ask Frank and Carl to answer that one. You know, what have you seen that's worked? And do you have a cautionary tale and advice of what not to do relative to organizational readiness? Any thoughts there? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I
Okay.
got to the button quicker, I guess. Well, see, so we have a very unique situation. We didn't start with fund development. We actually started with an app on the App Exchange to help us raise our guide dogs. That was our first crack, just an opportunity. So, and then a number of other programs before fund development, before donor management came in. So one thing, a couple things there. One, and you mentioned it, know what your outputs need to be. If, you know, what did one of the executives say at the time? We were killing ourselves with analytics. Like, we were trying to run a million different reports a million different ways. And it was analysis paralysis. That was the word that he said, right? So we reevaluated, we threw it all out. We said, okay, what 10, 15 major business reports, the gold standard of reports, do we need? And Salesforce allows, it allows people to run their own stuff, but they cannot overwrite the gold standards. So that was number one. Know what your outputs are going to be. Reevaluate your processes. Are they all documented? We're a 100-year-old organization. Nothing was documented because they didn't document things, 100 years ago, and they weren't applicable today, right? So that's a readiness factor, definitely. And then as we went through it, what we wish we had done better, because we built a very monolithic system that handles so many of our processes, was data governance. And so how we handle that now is through a Salesforce steering committee. All the major stakeholders within the business that own pieces of Salesforce, we get together, we fight the battle royales, we make sure that we are keeping things good for the record, which is the client record. It has to be good for everybody. And then there is awareness when we want to make changes to other aspects of the system. Those are the three sort of major points. A lot of the stuff that challenges other projects like training is very easy through Salesforce. Data imports, very easy. So many tools available to do that kind of stuff. But really, the data, the processes, the governance, you have to have that well understood, or else you'll build something that doesn't provide you with the outputs and the processes that you need.
Carl, any thoughts for you?
Yeah, repeat the question one more time, just so I have a...
So it's really like, what do you recommend in terms of evaluating your organizational readiness, and who needs to be involved and why? Mm-hmm. And do you have what's worked well, what's not worked well? Do you have a cautionary tale around any of that? Like, if you could do it all over again?
Yeah, again, I wish I could speak to the whole process that they went through to get to that. I can only speak from what I've heard to a degree, and some of the things that I've experienced, still expanding our processes and our systems in general. But certainly the overarching drive was always, how do we centralize our data? Yeah, we have so many different databases for different things, number one. And then even just any relationship that we have, whether it's a vendor, government contract kind of work that we have, grants, foundations, our whole invoicing system, like everything together in one place, what would that look like? So I would say, from a learning perspective, the lack of documentation was a failure. When we did this, everybody understands and agrees with that. It was it was migrated well. It was built for what we needed at that time, and we were heavily into an annual giving based kind of fundraising initiative. It was Rowena that came in that really helped fill out all the channels, the omni-channel fundraising aspect, where it was like Salesforce was built at that time at like a tall apartment of annual giving, but it wasn't necessarily built with the foundation and structure to do multi-channel, all aspects of fundraising. So we use it for direct mail. We still do direct mail, huge, digital, email, grant management, major gift, high value, legacy, capital, third party, do-it-yourself fundraising kits, events. I mean, so we had to redo our structure, which we've had to invest in. And one of the learnings that we've had is, initially when I came in, it was like, okay, we need a Salesforce expert to help us to reconfigure some of this. And we had found, a local organization that was, they were really good at Salesforce, but they didn't know NPSP. And we learned that was huge. The uniqueness of the nonprofit success pack, and you can be an expert in Salesforce, but really not understand the constituent, cultivation, nuances that charities need to think about. CRA, Canadian,
Yeah.
all of that, and the unique exchange apps that go only in Canada, because we'd spend so much time vetting it out, and it's great in the States, but not in Canada, for example. So to put all that together, when we found Belmar, it was like, man, these guys are NPSP experts, and that made all the difference for us in a sense. So we've routinely kind of taken opportunity to look at our system and just hear the pain points in the departments, volunteers, for example. How do we improve on that? And then getting them to come in and do a bit of an analysis on, okay, this is how you can improve on it. Just this year, there's so many things that came out as an update with Salesforce this last year, that were just like, the grant management tool now is amazing. It was just like, they keep coming out with new stuff. And so we need somebody that's an expert outside of us, because we're a small team.